Well, today I am playing president. this is this is the office of our president, Jim Labe, and a lot of people say, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Wait a minute. You're like El Jefe, right? I mean, you're the CEO. You're the chief executive officer. Who's this president guy?" And well, the president guy is the guy who actually runs the company. I haven't run this company in terms of day-to-day operation for many, many years. And I have to say, the fact that I don't run the company and the day-to-day operation is one of the reasons why we are so successful. You know, as a young man, I thought I could do everything, and I did everything. I ran the company, I did the engineering, I did the sales, I did the marketing, I did all of it, and I didn't do any of it really great. I mean, in fact, the only thing I think I was any good at, other than talking with people and I don't know, I can't think of a whole lot else, was designing equipment. And I love designing equipment. I'm good at it, and I enjoy it, coming up with new products. I'm good at that. But as far as running a company on a day-to-day basis, you want somebody who sits in this seat, and Jim does a terrific job, and he's part of our team and one of the reasons why the company's actually successful. So be thankful I am not the president, and hats off to anybody that is able to do this job. I mean, there's nearly 40 people here. It's like herding cats, and I'm one of the biggest cats he's got to herd. So Jason in Nottingham, England, like the sheriff of Nottingham, England. Hey Paul, Jason from Nottingham. Yeah, all right, sorry. We talk about audio equipment in a room, but what about the recordings themselves? I have CDs that to my ears are very bright and harsh, and is there a way that equipment can tame them, or CD or the other CDs, is it making me miss out on what information is on the discs just to make it listenable? Oh, I see. So if I did something to tame them, would I miss out on the good stuff that is on well-recorded discs? I think I understand. So basically, there's a lot of bad recordings out there, and if there were a way to get rid of that bad, harsh sound, would it also degrade the sound of the ones that are good? And I think, A, the answer would be yes. B, I don't know of anything that can get rid of that hard, bright sound other than a very forgiving system. So it's interesting because this brings up one of the big double-edged swords in our business. And the greater the resolving power of a system, the more you hear what's bad and the more you hear what's good. So it's kind of like having strong tastes. If I have very sensitive taste buds, they taste everything. Then, you know, when I taste something that to somebody else might be a little bland, like, wow, my senses go off big time. And in the same way, in Music Room 1, if I play a bad recording, it sounds really bad. So on some systems, who in those systems are kind of, what's the right word, homogenizing sound, like the vast majority of systems do. Bad recordings sound okay, good recordings sound better, and nothing sounds great and nothing sounds terrible. Kind of like a nondescript car. You know, if you want to have a thrill, you know, hop in a slick car like a Tesla and go from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds or something crazy, and yeah, that's a thrill. But yeah, you get in your little Chevy Nova or Impala, and it's kind of mashed potatoes. So it's always a double-edged sword. And if you listen to a lot of bad recordings, then you might consider there are a number of speaker systems out there that just don't really show off the good and the bad qualities. So it's sort of like this double-edged sword, and I don't know how to guide you on it. I have chosen to ignore certain kinds of music that just sound awful. I haven't found anything out there of true value musically for me that I ignore. I mean, there's stuff that maybe I'd like to listen to, but some of the older rock and roll stuff, some of the early CDs were just god awful. But many of them have been reissued because it wasn't the recording itself that was bad, it was the mastering of the CD and the conversion of analog to digital, which in its infancy was horrible, with very few exceptions. One of those being Dire Straits, and but Dire Straits, I think it was Mark Knopfler, wasn't it? They had one of the very first CDs, and it was really good. But in order to get it good, they had to run the signal, the actual mix from the digital recorder. They had a Sony 24-track recorder. They had it sounded so harsh and bright. They had to run it through, I think, 16 Neve tube amplifier stages to calm it down. And tubes will do that, which now it just struck me might be a solution for you. Tubes all do tend to be gentler on bad sounding things and easier on that. So maybe that's a solution. But the other thing I was going to mention is there's been many reissues of some of those really bad recordings, so you might look for those too. Okay, thanks. Bye.